Welcome back. We still have Alhaji Hassan Abdulazeez Sani in the studio, and we're looking at the whole questioning of question of restructuring. Alhaji Hassan doesn't really buy the whole question of restructuring, except with the caveat, it depends on what you mean by restructuring. But generally speaking, Alhaji Hassan thinks the question is a distraction. Now, before we went on break, you were going to react to the example that is often thrown up of, for instance, VAT payments and especially Lagos State, where the most of it is made.
Yeah, the issue of VAT in relation to Lagos State government.
For example, it's just an example.
For example, because I've been hearing it all over, right from the time of Babatunde Rajafasola's son. You know, they look at it, they look. We made a lot, we contributed to the VAT payments, and we are not having anything. Their body language, what I can deduct from their body language is that we should have a derivation-like arrangement, whereby you derive much from here, then you give much to that place. It's justifiable. Do you know why? Lagos is a microcosm of Nigeria. Everybody, all the tribal groups, everybody are represented in Lagos. Even the people that came to Lagos are more than 20, 50 times the indigenous of Lagos. What made Lagos today are the people that came into it. And people that improve Lagos today are not Lagosians. But one thing is very clear. Why I say the clamoring for it is justifiable is this. The more people came into a place, the more they exhaust the facilities, the infrastructures. You understand? And there is this kind of replacement,
wear and tear,
so to speak. You understand? Because being a visitor to Lagos or being a non-indigent in Lagos, that will never prevent you from enjoying the facilities of Lagos State.
So you're saying in effect that Lagos really belongs to all, and so
it
people should stop clamoring for Lagos
you don't pasteurize Lagos.
Oh, okay.
Because Lagos is the making of non-Lagosians.
Okay. Interesting point. I'm sure it will be reacted to. Let me bring in Joshua, calling in from Kaduna. Good morning, Mr. Joshua.
Yeah, good morning, Uncle Yori. How are you this morning?
Very well, thank you. Please go ahead now.
Alhaji Hassan, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Now, my own side and my own take on this is it is being looked at from a selfish point of view by a few. When this economy was very, very vibrant, where were they? Now we have a focused leadership. Now we have a focused citizenry. Because whether you believe it or not, the citizenry, we are very much more sensitized than before. We have now started gingering ourselves by actually indicating the sort of leadership we want and where we want it to take us to. Now they are seeing a focused leadership. They want to come in and begin all that we have invested in by making structuring going to be an answer to an already existing problem. Nigeria in itself has a leadership and followership issue. And I'm telling you that within a span of 20 years, I see this country going to the level of matching what United States is right now. And people of maybe ages that have passed do not want to see this thing come to reality. So restructuring is not the issue. What is at stake, or what we should on now, is responsible leadership around a law that in itself is both proactive in nature and humane. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Joshua. A very, very interesting conversation that we're having here, because it would seem that there's no unanimity of purpose on this question, as you know. In fact, that is particularly why you are here, because we had an inkling as to your take on this whole matter. So is that in itself not an issue? There are those who even voted for President Buhari, for example? Because taking into consideration Mr. George's contribution and Mr. Joshua's just now, and for that matter yours, even those people are saying that, you know what, the lie of the ground is not exactly level, and we could profit from looking at it again, maybe revisiting some areas of the Constitution. But you say to all of that, bunkum.
Mr. Yori, let me say it once again. You see, poisonous propaganda is very, very powerful.
Poisonous propaganda?
Yeah. It's very, very powerful.
And you think that's what it is? Those calling for it?
That is, you see, I see no reason why I will vote you, then just in a jiffy, I will now come back and say I don't like you again. You understand? The issue is this. Please, let us sympathize with the federal government of Nigeria.
Yes.
This government inherited a distraction, a major distraction, Boko Haram. And now, as the government assumed office, some distractions came immediately with the election of Senate leadership and House of Representatives. It's a distraction. Followed by pardon issue. It's a distraction. You understand? Followed by Avengers. These are major distractions. Because whether we like it or not, the National Assembly is the clearinghouse of any democratic government. And now you begin by having your problem with the National Assembly. The National Assembly leadership that was put together by the PDP to destroy the responsible government of General Muhammadu Buhari. They knew very well that this guy meant well.
So you're in effect saying that it's almost as good as sabotage.
Yes, and even this clamoring you are saying, is a distraction also.
Okay, let me bring in Lawal. Mr. Lawal, calling in from Alimosho. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. What I want to contribute to the program is just that. Yes, sir. Since I'm a young guy, sir, but since when they are practicing the regional system, I was not born by then. What we young guys are clamoring for is now that this system is not working out, sir. They should try the other system, sir. Let's see what is going to happen. People are suffering.
Okay.
You can see now, some member of APC, some elders from Southwest, declared themselves in Ibadan as at the last 2 weeks to comment about this issue. Please, let's try another system. This system is not working out.
Okay, Mr. Lawal, thank you very much for your call. Alhaji Hassan, I don't know that you had the chance to respond to my suggestion that, whereas I can understand that, perhaps adversaries of the incumbent, authorities might come up with all their tricks and little wiles and all of that. But how do you now explain even clear-cut loyalists of this administration? For instance, the guys that, had a colloquium, sort of a conference in the Southwest recently, also making this call, saying that, look, it was the way forward. How do you explain that?
People influence people. You see, when you see people calling for a conference or calling for a gathering, they have their own agenda. They have their own agenda. You understand? You can't rule out agendas from this. You understand? You see, I'm not here to downplay their opinion. You understand? You see, opinion is a matter of mind. You understand? And you don't downplay whatsoever somebody had, either a misgiving or whatsoever. You understand? But the issue is very clear here. Let us look at the problem the federal government is facing. The downturn in the price of oil globally, and we are dependent nations, dependent on everything, including toothpick. We import everything. We are lazy people, we are lazy countries. And our source of revenue, major source of revenue, is oil. We don't invent, we don't fabricate, we don't do anything. Even our so-called industry we talk about is just a transfer of machinery to come and produce somewhere and employ people to do the packaging. We are not really industrialized because this is Nigeria where you cannot master and locate the whole process of production. Even the management, we import the expatriate to come and manage for us. We don't have the what it takes to manage a company. We don't do anything. You understand, for God's sake. And everybody, our elites, we have lazy elites in the sense that we look up to the federal government, we look up to the state government, we look up to the local government to earn our living. There's
a patronage kind of a system.
Thank you. So,
Mr. Ado in Kaduna, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Okay, very good morning.
Good morning, sir. Please go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, in complete agreement with what Alhaji Hassan is saying. What we needed is restructuring of our mind, not any restructuring. And all the comforts we've been holding in this country, Nigeria as a nation has been spending billions of naira, and the materials are not being used, not being put in use. So the best thing is, I believe the House of Representatives is the reflection, is the direct reflection of Nigerian population. If all the states or local governments or our regions have anything to discuss regarding this restructuring, I think the best thing is for each and every member of our House of Representatives to go back to their constituencies and get this feedback so that we don't waste money again on arranging for another conference. We can use the House of Representatives to actually get the result on that. But Alhaji Hassan made a statement regarding the leadership of House of Assembly. The House of Assembly is an autonomous body. They have the right to choose their leader. Imposing a leader for them by anybody is in itself corruption. Thank you very much.
All right then, Mr. Ado, thank you very much. Alhaji Hassan, in this particular leg of the conversation, we're getting a lot of naysaying, shall we say, and you know that's as it needs to be. We've heard from one side, we'd like to hear from the other. What what seems to be coming to the fore is a restructuring of our minds, a mental restructuring. That is what is called for. That seems to be what the theme is here today. What exactly, or how exactly do you think we'd go about that? That in as long as people are calling for a restructuring, starting from the Kano State Governor, Mr. George, your good self, saying that it is the mind that needs to be structured. Explain that a bit.
Thank you. The mind controls the body. The mind. If the mind is good, the body will take the instruction.
So what is the Nigerian mind?
Thank you. We are dirty in minds. The leadership, the previous leadership, with the exceptions of some, of very few, you see, is dirty. And
insincere.
And is telling seriously on the governance. You know,
when you say the mind of the Nigerian is dirty, do you mean by that we are plagued by insincerity of purpose?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You see, let me tell you one thing. All these MOU people are having, I happen to be in a place where somebody brought MOU, let us sign this, let us sign. I told him, I said, do you know what you need? He said, no. Let all of us be sincere before God and man. This thing will work. This paper you are talking about will not work. Because this paper is a creation of me and you. And what will work is the mind.
And so we sign this paper,
yes.
But we all have our secret agendas.
If you are sincere, let me tell you one thing. You can govern any ministry. You can govern any state. The first thing you need in this country, just tell them, I'm not interested in anything. No contractor should come and pay me homage. Nobody should come and give me money after doing his job. Do your job. No anybody should come and be placing advert on my behalf. I don't need it. And you live up to it. Everything will work for you. The roads are going to be okay. The hospitals are going to be okay. The schools are going to be okay. The economy is going to be okay.
Interesting point. Let me not burn time pursuing it, but there are a number of things I would have liked to pursue there, because I want to bring in Mr. Dotun calling in from Egbeda. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Ayori.
Thank you for calling in.
Please, I want to chip in some words into the argument of the day, which is joined. Hello?
Please go ahead.
Please, I like to say the restructure. We don't really need a restructure in Nigeria. And one caller called earlier on where he said that those agitators were from opposition party. And it's very interesting. We in Nigeria, we love to debate issues. Of recent, we have some APC group, they made Southwest, and they were calling for the same restructuring. Look, Alaji, restructuring is in two phases. You have political restructuring, you have administrative restructuring. People are calling for a unicameral legislation in Nigeria. It's part of restructuring. So political restructuring as well. If you are saying that we don't need a restructuring as well, why the Northern agitated for the power shift? Political restructuring is about power shift. So if anybody out of his own understanding is saying that restructuring, if the social whether it is administrative restructuring, we need those restructuring for Nigeria to move on. Some sections did not are calling for the Islamic law. If that will work for them, they can have it. It's part of restructuring. If some part of Nigeria try to extend law, if they want to work, they can have it. So we need to move Nigeria forward. Either a Northerner will rule Nigeria for 1,000 years, or a Southerner will rule Nigeria for 1,000 years. So far we have a restructuring in Nigeria. So far we restructure Nigeria. If the Southwest want to have, for example, a Tinubu as our president for the entire years, it is left for the Yoruba to decide. If the Northerner will want to one article as the president for the entire year, it is left for the Northern to decide. If the Igbos want the likes of for the whole year, it is left for Nigeria to decide. We need the restructuring in Nigeria for Nigeria to move on. Thank you, Mr. Ayori.
Well, thank you very much. Okay, well, interesting. Well, what do you think about that? He brought up one point that, for example, people have said that we have an expense, the system we have is far too expensive. We can't even afford it. Allusion has been made to the fact that we can't even pay salaries in some states. Why? What are we doing with our present arrangement? But with restructuring, we can talk about these issues and come up with something we all agree with, as opposed to what people have called the lie of the constitution we're operating now that starts with we the people. It's not we the people.
You see, everything boils down to self-discipline. Either unicameral or bicameral. It boils back to discipline, self-discipline.
Which there is no abundance of locally.
The issue is this. We are talking about system is expensive. If you like, make the National Assembly to operate once in a year. They will still take the same money. They have their own ways of inserting the monies, you understand, for themselves.
Yeah, but if, in theory, that's because, as you've said, we lack sincerity of purpose.
That is it.
But in this restructuring, hopefully, that would lead to maybe the right people coming into being.
No, do you know what is even happening to us today? The workers are calling for more pay. The National Assembly are not ready to sacrifice for the country to reduce their own pay. You understand? And I can see the insensitivity all over. There is a drain in our revenue. Everybody knows. Every onlooker knows that the money we used to have before is no longer there today, based on the realities staring everybody.
Yes, the current realities.
Thank you.
As well as the reality of the stolen funds through the ages.
But the issue is this: Are we helping the government? You see, doctors, we are going on strike. We wanted what do they call it? Training allowances. We wanted this. We wanted that, without considering where the money will come from. The National Assembly are not ready to back down their unnecessary demands, including our members in the National Assembly, the APC. You understand? They are not ready to back down about their expensive, what do they call it, expenditures. Are we really patriotic? If you like.
So you're saying that we're not selfless enough.
We're not selfless.
In fact, quite the opposite. We're inherently selfish. All of us seems to be what you're saying.
We are not living in congenial with economic realities.
Okay, Mr. Yakub, calling in from Dokwemu. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in. Just Yori will do.
Hassan. And then I respect the opinion of Hassan. And then if I see the Dr. Knight that he brought on yesterday. Because when Dr. Knight talk with a parable all the time, and then which you really understand him very well. So back to the matter, sir. George calling from Ikeda, it's an editor to Yori. You know what? The people are calling for restructuring today. You know, they have the opportunity of this same day. Yes, they didn't say so. When the economic boom, they get the money the way they like, they invest the money outside the country, not even our country, outside the country. But today, when they know that they have lost the power in the era of the political party, and then they are now anticipate that coming 2019, there is something to fight for. That is that. The solution to our problem is this. Until Nigerian leaders, Nigerian elite, Nigerian politicians see the position they are about to head as a service to the nation. Why am I saying that? You can remember David Cameron. Why did the man resign? Because he knows that he got to the power for the service of that country. And there is not in Nigeria here that you got to the power. The power you got to is for your own, for your children, for your wife, and your immediate sisters. It is on Nigerian leaders see every corner of this country as its own political that it needs to serve. Even though we restructure this country 100 times, Chibiori, assuming you restructure this country, the Niger Delta people, bet me on you, Chibiori, there will be 5 who is going to control the resources. Southwest here, we will be 5 who is going to control the resources because of our selfish interest. So, Chibiori, whether we restructure or we don't restructure, this is the first time I've ever seen a very reasonable leader in person of President Muhammadu Buhari, because this is the sincere leader. How are we? He has the political power like military. If President Muhammadu Buhari has power under the political leader as a military, I can bet you everything will change in this country. That is why he sent a bill to the National Assembly today that he needs power to change the economy. If does not send out a bill to National Assembly, he has the power by himself. He can change. Even the corruption we are talking about, if President Muhammadu Buhari has power as a military, some people will defend themselves in the day today because they already caught them, but they cannot even spend the money.
All right, Yakub, thank you very much for calling in. Appreciate you, passionate as always. And well, that's Yakub, you were the last caller. Well, here we are, Alhaji. Your position is that, in fact, I think Yakub just about summed it up well, in the sense of he's saying that this insincerity you fear is the bane of our aspirations in this direction. Is that right?
Do you know my sympathy? My sympathy goes to the common men of Nigeria.
They're getting the rough end of the stick. Is that going to stop anytime soon?
I'm telling you, my sympathy goes to them. Do you know that economic resources influences social changes? It influences people's behavioral attitude. What we are seeing now, those elites are selling dummy to the common men because of the harsh economic situation, which was not occasioned by the present government. It was an inherited problem. And,
so when you hear people saying we're hungry, or
yes, what we should call for now is to call for the understanding. We are all feeling it inside us, but we knew it's a carryover of the last regime, the mismanagement of the last regime. And what I'm seeing with this man at the mantle of leadership, I'm seeing light at the end of the tunnel. May God help us.
Okay, we've got to leave it here, and it's a conversation that is going to continue into the future, as you well know. But for this particular phase of it, we've taken 3 perspectives starting out on Monday, and I think it's interesting. Perhaps people are a bit better informed to hold the opinion that they want to hold about it, having had these three perspectives on the important question of to restructure or not to restructure. Alhaji Hassan Abdulazeez Sani, I thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yori. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Nigerians.
I'll be back tomorrow, God willing, with a fresh edition of the program. I'm Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now.